Let me pull up this tweet here, and we'll spend some time ragging on Dr. Fauci. He's leaving, and I'm quite disappointed because this means I won't be able to do the voice roles for Freedom Tunes anymore. But the truth is, Seamus hasn't been calling. That's right, Seamus of Freedom Tunes. He hasn't called me to do a voice of Fauci, even with the big Fauci news. I get it, Seamus. But I know what you're here for. Ian Miles Chong tweeted, Fauci has the Fauci devotional candle on his bookshelves. You couldn't make this up. Here's a picture of Fauci. Here's the bookshelf behind him. And right here, you can see it. That's the Fauci devotional candle. It is an image of Fauci as I think Jesus. Is that it? Let me see.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. That's what those devotional candles are. They're usually
or
Jesus.
the Virgin Mary.
Saw a lot of them in South America.
Yeah. All right. Fauci
or the Virgin.
Has a devotional candle of himself, depicting himself as Jesus. Is that what it is? Discuss.
Of the Savior.
I would buy
I said this. You would buy it?
You would. How many would you buy?
No, just one. I don't know.
Would you light it?
Yeah.
I said this yesterday, but I kept saying he didn't want to retire because out of vanity. Retiring means that you're old and that you're you can no longer work, and that's why his announcement is very much no, I'm just stepping down to continue to work, even though he's 81. Maybe someone got this candle for him as a gag gift. They were like, this is so funny, you're a candle. I could definitely see doing that to someone I know if they were suddenly turned into a devotional candle. But to know that you're going to have it in the background of your interview, to me, is just isn't this is a form of narcissism, right? You see yourself as a savior.
And incompetence. Mm-hmm. I think it's a nice mix between the two. Because you're a doctor, but have no ability to discern science from political science.
Yeah.
So I think you're an absolute clown, so that's perfect.
I think it was it's a stereotype for doctors, right, to have a God complex, and the entire American media handed this to Fauci, and we're no, we really could not make it through this pandemic without you, sir. And I think it's gone to his head.
So here, check this out. Ian Miles Chong posted the photo. This is what's behind him. Is that who is this supposed to be?
If I was Fauci, I would definitely put that behind me. Yeah. That's hilarious. I wouldn't buy it. I don't think, but if people
were gifted to you,
people sent me stuff to our PO box for a while, and then one of them was a shirt with my face on it. I've worn it on the show. I think it's freaking hilarious. It's one of my favorite shirts. I didn't go out and make it to show everyone hey, look how great I am. But I'm sure people are sending him tons of stuff, merchandise about him, and he's just rolling with it.
If anyone made him a devotional candle, I would buy it and bring it to you immediately.
I'd love to put one on the table.
I pointed this out because before the show we were ragging on it. And then I was like, to be fair, someone sent a golden bust of my face to us, and it's sitting on a table downstairs. Mm-hmm. And I'm like, I don't know. It came in a box. Someone else opened the box. Someone else put it there, and now there's this bronze statue of me, and it's weird.
I had a headshot that we used for one of our Cast Castle shows, and it was out in the living room for a month. It was just on the table, and I was yeah, everyone get a taste, feel it for 3 weeks, and then it started to feel really weird. So I took it and put it in my closet.
You hung it up in your room.
Yeah, I put it behind some things on a shelf.
Are you talking about the painting?
No, I want to display that. That thing's hot. No, it's just a headshot from my college days, from my Los Angeles.
Ian has a miniature version of himself on the table right now.
Yeah. So this is another example of it. This is right here. This is Ian Crossland bobblehead someone made. Thank you so much. I didn't make it, but someone sent it to me, and it would almost be an insult not to display it at that point.
See, that's the thing, right? I remember when the photo went viral of Fauci in his office, and he's got a painting of himself, and then everybody was like, he works under a painting of himself, and then we had someone on the show, and they were just like, his daughter probably painted it for him, and then I was like, oh, that's a good point.
See, that's
why he would put it up.
With the candle, it totally could just be a gift, right? Someone was like, this is hilarious. I will get this for you. But I don't know. I guess he has just really lost my respect and any of my...
You respected him?
No, I never respect. He never earned my respect, I guess is what I should say. It's hard really not to see this as him. It's hard to imagine that he doesn't look at that every day and think I am really saving America. You know what I mean?
Did you see the...
Minus the long flowing hair.
Right, you guys would laugh at yourself with your busts and your t-shirts, and you're humble, so there's an element to it, but I don't know if that's how Fauci views this candle.
Did you see the video clip of him? I did a great Twitter troll. He was quoted as saying that he was inspiring people. It was the Fauci effect, and that he in this time of untruth, he represented truth and science, something like that.
Yeah.
So I quoted it directly, and then under the tweet was oops, can't forget the video. And then I was like, we're going to separate the men from the boys here and see who actually read the Twitter thread and understood it was a quote, or who just blindly was I can't believe Tim Pool said this about himself.
But then Jack Pacific was on that night, and he was like, "Oh, I didn't click through. Oh, the video." And like he totally got it afterwards. But
Oh, I didn't know Jack fell for it.
One of the
think-
boys.
I mean,
the
I don't,
boys.
that's what I remember him saying. Somebody can clip it, I guess. But yeah, I remember you doing that. I mean, I just think that like Anthony Fauci is an arrogant person. And so if it were someone who had humility, I would laugh at this candle. But it is like hard not to be like, come on, guy, you couldn't clear your bookshelf at all.
I
He's
have
tasked with saving people's lives, and he's a bit of a megalomaniac. I think at the very least, that's
Saving.
goes without saying. A bit of one. The way he talks about himself as a savior is a little crazy.
look at these photos, okay? This guy, Abhi Cole, he's got the devotional Fauci candle. This guy, this lady, Julie Pfeiffer, she's got one. Here's another Fauci, a devotional candle with a mask next to it and like a cork.
It's freaking insane too.
If there's
Well,
if
this-
there is anything that makes me want to just buy a van and go live down by the river and never think of any of this political stuff again, it is this.
Look at that.
These people are serious. Guess what? They vote.
Yeah, well, I've seen these devotional candles for like Snoop Dogg and Martha Stewart and some other people. This t-shirt company in Dallas that used to like sold them too. It's just like in our culture with the weird adoration for Dr. Anthony Fauci when they tried to like make him like a like pop cultural influence.
Celebrity.
Like it's not good. I think part of it is like we lost Ruth Bader Ginsburg, and so we needed some other like older New Yorker that we all were obsessed with, and like they just couldn't make Anthony Fauci work. I don't know. It just creeps me
Remember
out.
Cuomo sexual?
Oh yeah, that was
What is
horrifying.
wrong with these people?
cultists. And
It's-
it's
yeah.
all around, man. Zelensky, they worship the president of the United States. They worship him when he gets the job. Like all of a sudden now he's something.
And worship is a great word for it. Like it has to be more than just like, oh, I respect your work or he's got some good points. It's like weird devotion. Say what they say. Do not question them. Like that is these are the icons that they're trying to prop up for themselves, which is very strange.
It's creepy.
It's creepy.
It's a creepy bunch of people in a cult, and they're all voting. So you better go out and tell all your friends to go vote.
Does Nine
You gotta-
Lives sell devotional candles?
We've not got into that market. I think I might skip that one.
Why?
Oh, really?
I mean, unless I can use your face as a model. I feel
Oh,
like
yeah,
you're
you
more
can.
Jesus-y with
Yeah.
that flowy.
You have all the
hair.
rights.
Is that an adjective?
Sweet. You just
I
gave it
dispense-
out.
Yeah, it's
so.
all you.
All
Anyone
right.
that wants to make T-shirts with my face on it, they're all you. Make as much money off them as you want.
I'm gonna make tens of dollars. It's gonna be great.
You know, the cult's getting bigger. Or maybe it's not. I don't know. What do you guys think? Do you think, I feel like, you know, Liz Cheney, she's out. We got a primary tonight.
I think they're getting louder, not bigger.
Louder?
I think that sometimes with cults, like when they become stressed in some way, the people who are really devoted double down, and the people who are like on the outside already sort of feel like, I don't know if
'Cause
I
even-
want to leave, and they back out.
Even now, like I got employees that work for me, and especially in leadership. We don't always see the same, same eye to eye. And I know people voted for this. And whenever they're complaining about the gas prices or not being able to hire people or all of these things that you voted for, I kindly remind them, like, you did this. Like, this is your fault. And they did exactly what they said they're going to do. You know, we had a previous president said, I'm going to build a wall, reduce energy prices, do this, do that. Like, he had a playbook, and he went and executed on it. Not everything went according to plan. Not everything went as stated, but that was his intention, and he went to work day one. Day one, they destroyed energy prices, and energy is tied to absolutely everything that we have to deal with, and transportation and goods. And you talk about inflation. It was day one, how do we create this socialist society without going through Congress? And they did it. You want $15 an hour? No problem, because everything costs $15 now. So I got to pay someone who was being paid $10 to catch a t-shirt at the end of a dryer is now being paid $15. Now that manager who was 15 is now 20, and now everyone else is 25. And guess what? You only want to spend so much on a USA made t-shirt, right? But there is no incentive to buy things in the US, and there's no disincentive to import stuff from China. So when I tell people that my competitors are using slave cotton, like literally slave cotton, and they're illegally putting it into their garments, and then they're selling it at a price point I can't match because I don't have any slaves in Georgia. That's hundreds of years ago and freaking wrong.
Well, I
can
gotta
say
be
freaking,
honest.
right?
I'm pretty
Yeah.
sure like this shirt is probably like Bangladesh or something.
I can tell you that my stuff's not. And
Yeah,
I can tell you
guys should
that
just buy
there's
your
a
shirts instead.
but there's a price point associated, right? So I want cheap, fast, good, and I want it all done here in the United States. Well, that's not a thing. You can put your money where your mouth is. You can vote with your dollars. And that's what I've been trying to tell people, is that when you're sitting up on stage and you're talking about all of these values that you are concerned about, you know, your social justice warriors out there, then why are your products that you're wearing literally made by slaves? Why are the things that you're purchasing going to regimes that hate us and want to destroy us? These are regimes like the Chinese Communist government, not Chinese people. I have lots of Chinese friends, so don't confuse the two, right? The 6% ruling class of China that rules with an iron fist, that has zero regard for human rights, that has zero regard for anything other than world domination, and I don't care what anyone else has to say. That is what they want. You know, this is an organization that has said recently that they've won the war without firing a shot, because they look at economic warfare as warfare. They look at biological warfare as warfare. So if COVID was not the perfect test run of biological warfare, and I'm not a conspiracy theorist, I'm just saying that was an absolute biological agent that wreaked havoc on the world, except for one country, which has seemed to benefit very, very much so. You know, we are living blindly, and we're putting our money and we're voting with our dollars towards organizations that support China, towards organizations that support slavery. And anyone who wants to talk about that gets censored. I made a USA Made shirt video today talking about our cotton made in the U.S., our cutting and sewing made in the U.S., our printing in the U.S., when now people are out there saying, hey, you know, you can't make things in the U.S. Like, I can do it. I'm a freaking aviator. I have zero knowledge in textile manufacturing. But the last 10 years, we figured it out, right? We're Americans. We can do this better, cheaper, faster, but no one cares. So when the president of the United States goes on television and says during the State of the Union, we're going to encourage and make sure that everything's made in the U.S., not one piece of legislation is to stop any type of imports of textile goods that can be made here, especially from China. Not one piece of legislation that gives credits towards R&D, research and development, for manufacturing capabilities like ours, right? So I can't get any type of credits for my employees I hire. I can't get any credit for the R&D that I do, and I do a lot of R&D to be able to try to compete with China. I have to be more efficient. None of that. If I was a tech company, I get lots of R&D credits. I paid no taxes. If I just took all my manufacturing and I brought it overseas, I'd make so much more profit. It's incredible. And apparently no one would care. So until the United States starts voting with their dollars, you know, and understand that that money goes to an organization that most likely influences politics, you know, we're just going to keep
It's simple.
doing more of the same.
China can't, the Chinese Communist Party can't donate directly to a politician to support them, but they can hire people to do things who they know will support certain politics, thus giving more economic power to people who will destroy this country.
So we have no insight into China because they have locked it down. You can't influence their politicians. You'll go to jail forever in that country.
But do they have politicians? Or just have party members?
They do have party members, but you're not influencing them. You know, Big Brother is a thing. You know, we are social, your facial recognition. You can't leave cities without social credits. I mean, it is 1984 today. And these organizations, China, specifically the Communist Party, there's nothing that stops them from espionage, right? Coming here and learning everything they can and bring it back to their country. I have intellectual property that I sent to China to make. I have a hoodie that holds your beer hands-free, right? So I've got 2 patents. One on an N95 mask, so you can breathe without dying. It actually works. Sorry, FDA said I can't say that. According to all of my FDA tests, it works better than 3M's, but I'm no longer allowed to sell it because there's no more EUAs, and I just had to eat millions of dollars.
Really?
Oh yeah, absolutely.
Wow.
It's a whole different story. But I like science. I like engineering. So I made this patented product where you can hold your beer hands-free on your hoodie, right? Not as
Like a pocket or something, or what?
It's a cool pocket. Yes, you kind of dumbed down my patent, but yes, it's a pocket. in your hoodie.
It's an engineered compartment.
Thank you so much. A kangaroo pouch, if you will. But I sent it to China with the tech pack to have them manufacture it. This is 8 years ago, right? And they gave it to my competitors and started selling it to everyone else. And they told me that they don't believe in intellectual property. It's trade secrets. If I
You can't like own an idea, man.
There's
you know?
there's no patents there. They consider it trade secret. So once the secret is known, it can be shared with absolutely everyone. As long as they can make money, they will. So there is no respect for intellectual property. There is no respect for human life. And this is an organization that is not our friend. And they threatened to shoot down our Vice President, Secretary of Defense, Sec State. Who is it they were going to shoot?
Nancy
Speaker of the-
Pelosi.
Speaker of the
Pelosi.
House.
There we go. Speaker of the House. So they want to shoot down a sitting member of Congress. And, our response is, please don't do that. We are a very weak country right now, in my opinion, because we have weak leadership. And until that changes, I don't see us improving.
The midterms are coming up. I'm pretty optimistic. I'm not super optimistic about the leadership. We're going to end up with McConnell and Kevin McCarthy, so nothing will really get done. But you'll have some good people in there doing some good stuff. It's not all bad, right?
Yeah, I think what we saw when you had Trump come to power, you had a change in politics that shook things up. It was a time when everyone was tired with the status quo, and they didn't want more of the same. I think people on both sides are starting to see that again. That going back to traditional politicians, you get more of the same. We actually reversed course so fast day one. And to see the state of the economy right now, and to see the state of affairs, from a world stage, having traveled a lot into the Eastern European countries as of late, we are a joke. We're a laughingstock.
What do you think about Ron DeSantis?
I would be very excited for a DeSantis ticket. If our current, I guess, if the Donald were, in my opinion, to support and endorse that person and push the Trump supporters towards him, I think that we actually would have a shot. Conservatives, right? I'll identify as a conservative. No other pronouns, just conservative. And that's not a negative thing. It just means I'm a fiscal conservative and social libertarian. I could care what you do with your ding-a-ling. Just don't talk to my children about it. That's my job.
So would you prefer Trump or would you prefer DeSantis?
DeSantis,
you think so?
because I think he has an opportunity to win, because I think there's more than, this is nothing to do with the Donald, right? Now, I've gone to Mar-a-Lago. I've met him a few times. He's helped me with getting my friend Eddie Gallagher out of prison. I have no ill will towards former president of the United States. What I do have is ill will towards not taking a stance towards what's the most likely course of action if he were to run. You're going to have a lot of individuals, never Trumpers, that rally their base to vote against him just because it's him. And that's the unfortunate truth, is that they'll get more people that would have voted conservative to not vote conservative just because they don't like the orange man.
There is a concerted effort in media right now to go after DeSantis that way. They're actually trying to say that he's worse than Trump because they have to. They have to. And it's crazy because they already said Trump was, literally worse than Hitler. And I'm not entirely sure what they're complaining about with DeSantis. But they just have to say something. Otherwise, he'll win.
But that's their play, is they just say things louder and louder and louder. And, my godfather, I loved having conversations with him. I used to break as a thesaurus. Is Bill Buckley Jr. He kind of started the modern conservative movement. And, he would always tell me that you'll never win an argument with an idiot. They'll just talk louder. And that's what I find when I try to engage into a political discussion with someone who is so far left or honestly right. It really doesn't matter. When you have extremisms on both parties and you can't find a way to have a conversation without raising your voice, because we have a difference of opinion on women's reproductive rights, about the Second Amendment, about
all the
First
left.
Amendment. I've seen it on both sides too. I've seen people go extremely far right and angry because I don't agree with something to do with women's reproductive rights, right? Which I'm not even going to get into that because I just don't feel like it's a topic of conversation where you can win. It's just a difference of opinion. Some people are extremely religious, some people are not. And I think that we've degraded our morals in this country. And I think that it's become the popular thing not to go to church. I think it's the popular thing not to have what I would consider old school morals, right? That are usually faith-based, because it's not the cool thing to do anymore. And actually Stalin said it best, that they'll never win a war in the United States because of our moral convictions, because of the fact that, we believe in our country and what it's founded by, and that you can't break that spirit. And I think slowly but surely we've eroded the morals of this country. And when I say morals, I mean doing the right thing when no one else is looking.
Thanks for checking out this segment from the Timcast IRL podcast. But if you want to check out the full show live, tune in Monday through Friday at 8 p.m. And if you want more special access content, head over to timcast.com and become a member. Your membership helps sustain this company, keep our journalists employed, makes this show happen, and you will get access to exclusive members-only segments of the Timcast IRL podcast, and there's a massive library to check out. So again, go to timcast.com or tune in Monday through Friday at 8 p.m., and we'll see you all there.